Hello, everybody, and welcome to 3 Years AMA. It is Wednesday, and we are back live with you. So, thank you for being with us, for taking this opportunity, of course, to be able to ask questions and, of course, to get some answers. 𝗪𝗘𝗞𝗟𝗬 is my name. I am the host of this AMA. And I'm really looking forward to today's because we have a special guest coming up in a couple of minutes, of course. But first, let me invite you to be a part of our communities. We are doing great in our communities on Telegram, on Discord, and on Twitter. And of course, I'm also inviting you to be a part of this YouTube channel. So do subscribe so that you will get notifications whenever we are going live. And before we invite our guest, before we also invite the CEO of 3Air, Sandi Bitenc, let me just do a short introduction of our project. So connect Africa cities with a fast and stable internet connection and become the first fully decentralized telecom platform is the goal of 3Air. And we are, as we are always saying, connecting the unconnected. Once we connect African people to internet, once they have internet connection, we can, of course, provide them with digital identities. Then we can bank the unbanked. We can give them a wallet, all through blockchain. We have also decided on focusing on 3R Global, which has always been a part of the plan. So we plan to make it easy for travelers to be able to use the internet easily with a global SIM card, which can be used anywhere in the world without waiting to buy a new SIM card to connect. Like I said, I'm very happy that we will be talking about this today also with our guest. But first, let me invite the CEO of 3Air, Sandi Bitenc, to be with us. Hello, Sandi, and welcome.
Hello, Anita. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you, Sandi?
I'm also fine. I'm also fine. Looking forward, really excited about this AMA.
Yeah, so am I. I think it has been some time since we had our last guest, Sandi. I don't know when exactly, but we are definitely looking forward to have our today's guest, right?
Yes, it'll be a nice change. And as you said, we were mostly alone in the past few AMAs. And this is really a special guest. I would say this is the most important guest that we had up until now.
Oh, great. Oh, great. Sandi, just tell us, for starters, where are you right now? Still in Dubai?
Yes, I'm still at home. Let me think. I think the next time we have an AMA, I'll still be at home. So
Okay. And then you will be, of course, be traveling again.
yeah, then we have some travel plans actually with our today's guest,
Hmm.
and I'll let him talk a bit about that. Maybe I'll
Okay.
chime in also.
Okay. Just tell me, what were you doing in this last past 14 days when we weren't together live with our community?
So more or less, there's so much stuff to do here in Dubai, and catching up with the crypto community here. There are also there are some companies here that are really important for the future of 3 years. So we're trying to get some contracts in with one of the bigger telcos in general worldwide. So yeah, this was more or less what I was working on. Also getting some investors in. I had a few meetings with a potential Chinese investor. The thing is just,
Oh,
it's really interesting when you think about more or less we are usually struggling to get the funds in, right? And they're actually struggling to get the funds out. So we need to find a solution for that. This is kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum of problems. And of course, myself and the rest of the team, we were doing a lot on the actual white paper, and yeah, this is coming. It's now really close to completion, actually.
okay. That's good news. If you're ready, Sandy, let's invite our guest in, of course, to have this conversation, interesting conversation, and to ask him some questions. So let's do it. I would really like to say hello and welcome our special guest, Ricardo Casanova. Hello and welcome.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. How are you?
Ricardo.
Ricardo, it is good morning for you. It is almost evening for us, and we are doing fine. How are you this morning?
Good, good. I don't know how I can live up to that introduction by Sandi, but I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we are excited to have you here, Ricardo. I will just say a couple of sentences about you, and then, of course, you will continue that. Okay. So, Ricardo is
Mhm.
an innovator and disruptor with over 20 years of success in the technology and telecommunication markets in Canada. That is why there is morning right now. Throughout his career, Ricardo held technical sales and leadership positions with the largest telecom and IT organizations in Canada. Ricardo, I have read so much about you, so many interesting informations about everything you are doing, everything you were doing, and what, of course, you will be doing. That is something that you will be telling us today. Ricardo, do tell us a little more about what is your passion.
That's a good question. What it comes down to when what I'm passionate about is, um, when people are happy with the status quo, that's when I'm not. We need to change the way things are done. We need to innovate. We need to continue to move and improve. And so that's what really motivates me and drives me is um, being able to um, just make things better. And ultimately that's what kind of drives me. Um, yeah, being a thorn in some people's sides is makes me happy.
Wow, that's interesting. I think that was even a song, right? Thorn in my side or something like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, very
yeah.
good.
Every rose has its thorn.
Also, Ricardo, I was just following you today, just seeing what you're doing. Are you in Vancouver right now, or?
Yeah, I am in Vancouver. I came out here to meet up with some people, and my son actually had a tournament, a soccer tournament, a football tournament, kind of at the same time. So, kind of doing a couple things at the same time. But I go back to my home base, which is in Edmonton,
Mhm.
and then as Sandi had mentioned that we're going to be doing a little bit of travel for some 3 year
Mhm.
business coming up. And then, yeah, so I'll be dancing around a little bit and then back in Southeast Asia by August. So,
Okay, we will be talking about what the plans are with 3R, Ricardo, but let's
mhm,
start with a little bit about your work.
mhm.
We will talk also about that you are really passionate in soccer, right? But you have worked with so many organizations and so many companies. Could you tell us more about that, about your background, what you were doing?
Sure, yeah. So a long time ago, I started an organization, a nonprofit organization that advocated for football facilities and making it more accessible and quality to children within Edmonton, the city that I was in. And it really started to branch out from there and made it more of a national play where we had a lot of conversations with municipalities and governments across the country to really start focusing. Canada is very much a hockey country, but it is still a very small percentage of the population actually play hockey. Football is still by far the biggest sport.
Mhm.
Um, so how are we catering to these children? How are we providing them facilities? So that's something that I'm very passionate about as well, is making sure that we have, accessible, affordable, and quality facilities for kids. So it's something that kind of drives that conversation for me. So a nonprofit was started for me to be able to carry that conversation. And yeah, it kind of culminated in I got some funding to do a documentary. So we just finished filming a documentary which will be carried across the country um, for 2 years. on one of the major telecommunication carriers in Canada, talking about that subject. So yeah, so those sorts of things. A lot of the volunteer stuff I do is for disadvantaged communities, because I believe that they need the biggest help when it comes to having a voice. And it's part of the reason that 3Air was very attractive, and hearing Sandi talk about 3Air's vision and mission, it kind of fits, both checks both boxes, professionally and personally, of what I want to be able to accomplish. So
Wow. So it seems to me like you have a big heart, Ricardo, really doing great stuff for community, and you were also rewarded, right, of the Queen's Elizabeth Platinum Medal. Is that
mhm.
a part of what you are doing, or is this connected with something else?
Yeah, no, so that was a bit of a surprise. It was nice. It was right either before or right after she unfortunately passed away. But yeah, somebody reached out and said, "Hey, we've decided to award you this medal for your contributions to the community." So it's nice to get that recognition, of decades of working with communities. But it wasn't. It's not something that motivates me or drives me. It's just kind of a nice tip of the hat, I guess, a little bit to get that recognition. So.
Okay. So you have a lot of experience in different fields, like you were talking, like you said right now. Maybe now we could get to the point about your connection. So what is up with 3Air? You said that
Hmm.
it sort of invited you this project, or really got your attention because of what 3Air is doing. Um,
Hmm.
how
Let
is
me
it?
let me let me jump
Oh,
in here
okay.
just for a minute, because I think what we need to know a bit is actually Ricardo's technical background, because he has some
Yeah,
background in the telco sector. So I think that's the most important actually for today's conversation.
that's right. That's right.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. So my past is, I worked for the major telcos within Canada, and really saw a gap in kind of how they were providing services to their customers. And so I actually started an organization, a company that did telecom expense management, which, in a very simple nutshell, is we would be able to either scrape or download the raw billing data from the major carriers, and then be able to chop that data up, make sense of it, look for billing anomalies, look for trends, and not really AI, but it was a little bit machine learning, a little bit to a certain degree, of being able to optimize, whether we renegotiate contracts and that sort of thing. Um, so it really saved our customers a lot of money, and it made the carriers kind of turn around and go, okay, well, we need to do better. So they started to improve their own billing practices, to kind of try and muscle us out. And so, either we changed the industry to a certain degree, and we were able to change behaviors at the carrier level. So again, just creating that innovation where we can force the carriers to do something different, and at the end of the day, benefit the community at large.
Yes. So you also wrote somewhere that what 3Air is doing, according to that, is also changing the game. Is that what you like to do, Ricardo? Change the game.
Absolutely, disrupting. We're able to see that change needs to happen. We're able to see that the world is changing, and you have certain industries that have a certain level of stagnation, where they are kind of set in their ways, and don't see a need to change, because profit margins are high, and it's the way we've always done things. Yeah, so I think that there's um, a huge opportunity for us to change the way global telecom is done, and make it make sense. Yeah, very excited to do what we can, and following Sandi's vision as to what 3R Global is able to do is very extremely motivating.
Yes, Ricardo, where do you think the changes could be done? Where is there enough space to do something different?
Wow, that's a loaded question. There's a lot, but ultimately um, the affordability, the ease of use, the clarity for consumers, I think is big. When we look at what the global landscape looks like, there's a lot of ambiguous terms and conditions. Um, what your rates are doing at a certain amount, and then are you throttled? Are you not throttled? Is it for social media? So there's um, for the regular consumer that doesn't do telecom for a living, it can become quite daunting and convoluted. So I think, from a consumer perspective, and confusion, there's that piece. And then once you have that, confusing environment, cost is the next one. And if this doesn't make sense, then the cost is just people just accept, because this first part is so confusing, right? So the confusion and the cost, I think, is a massive thing. And then it comes down to the freedom of information, at its very base level, is that you have these core organizations that have control over, internet access. And the UN has already stated that internet access is a human right. And when you have organizations that can control or throttle that, in a centralized manner, I think that becomes a challenge when it comes to freedom of speech and access to information. Never mind the economic impacts of organizations being or communities being able to have access to high-speed internet. So, like I said, that's kind of a loaded question. Like, there's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
that goes into it, but yeah. I don't
yeah.
know, Sandi and I have had this conversation, and we're both very passionate about that access.
Yeah, and what I think really stands out, and what we are focusing the most on currently, is to allow actually everyone to become a mobile operator, right? And that's mind blowing, because I don't think that any of us has been thinking about, maybe I could be an operator, right? Maybe I could have my own SIM card and sell it to my community. And this is what we are trying to enable the communities to do. So you have a small community, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people or something like that. You have a strong brand association, and then you can actually have something to upsell it to. But where do you start? How do you start a telecom? It's not easy, right? There are two really big issues there. So one is that you need to really know everything about regulatory compliance. The legal stuff, it kills you. So, and the second one is it's still quite capital intensive. So we need to come up with funds, right? And this is what we are with 3R, what we're trying to change and disrupt. And the thing is that telcos right now, they don't have this great big brand association. I don't know. Myself, I don't care if I'm with I don't know, T-Mobile or Orange. Well, what I care about is I get a good service and that it's cheap, right? So that's it. And then it stops. It has no brand association after that. And this is what we're trying to change. And I think that this will be a really huge change in how telcos are actually selling services to their clients.
Oh, that's great opportunity. We're also working together on Whitepaper, as I understand, Sandi.
Yes, so the white paper is what, Ricardo, 99% done. So I put a few things up there, and then Ricardo and some other team members actually figured stuff out and polished it, and I think now it's in the second reading or something like that. And then once it's done, we just need to do the design, and it should be out pretty soon, right?
Yeah, I imagine based on the feedback, we should be done in about, well, I think I'll be done today on my final read through. And then, yeah, we'll have it through to design. Yeah, so a couple days. So we're right at the cusp.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the design will take a bit more than a couple of days because it's really a quite an extensive white paper. But I think end of the week or beginning of next week, the white paper should be ready, and then you can read a bit more about what we set out to do. And just what I mentioned is just a small part of what you're actually doing. There's also the tokenization of telecom services, and in the future we're planning to do some stuff also, and on a kind of a broader decentralization of internet, and trying to solve that issue that Ricardo mentioned about centralization of the internet and censorship. And we're literally in the hand of a few companies. If they could collude together, they could literally shut us down, shut down the internet altogether, just by a click of a button almost.
Yes, we were.
Mhm.
Sandi,
Well,
you were.
I think that's a good point, Sandy. In the grand scheme of things, um, with the with the white paper of, it is a broad document, but at the end of the day, I think between all of our conversations as a team is that we want to make sure that we do it correctly, right? We're building from a strong foundation. That's not only relevant today, but also future proof. So when the white paper does come out, it's going to be something that has that strong foundation that we can build on, and we're future proofed as we go forward. Whether it's from a technical perspective or a regulatory perspective, we're just making sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's. So I'm excited for people to actually see the white paper and see what we're doing, and where our vision is, because I think it's going to be something that'll be very complete. So
There are a few important steps, of course, as you go along. Like you said, from the idea, then to get white paper, to introduce the idea to people, then to deal with everything what Sandi said, government, regulatory, competition, and so on. And you were mentioning earlier the next steps that you will be taking, also going around, traveling, introducing the project. So what will be going on?
You want to take that one, or should I?
I'll start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be going to Roatan, Honduras. We go next month, and we're going to be going to a place called Prospera, and it's a ZEDE. So it's an economic zone that's somewhat unique to the government. They have regulatory independence, I guess, for lack of a better term. Yeah, so we're going to be going there and meeting with some people. There's a conference that is focusing on, I guess, finance freedom. We've had some conversations with some people down there, and Sandi can maybe elaborate on what that is. But so that's our most recent one that we're going to be going down to is Honduras. I've had conversations with some groups in other parts of Central America that are interested in having conversations. So it's people are ready and willing to have these conversations, and Honduras is our next one. So
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because it's something different that we've been to before. It's not so much introducing TR. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be some hands-on work, trying to figure out new regulatory environments, and uh, they have a really clear vision of creating new regulatory frameworks that support startups, right? So the thing is that the really big industries that telecom is also one of, the regulatory frameworks are there not to protect the consumer. They're there to actually protect the monopoly status of the big companies. That's the big giants, and they're using that with all force to protect themselves of any companies like us. They are startups and trying to disrupt and enter the market. So I think working on that legal side, and enabling a better landscape, legal landscape for us to really be able to operate in, is going to be crucial if we want to be there and actually work and play with the big guys and sit with them at the same table. So that's why I'm so excited and thrilled about what's happening there.
It won't be an easy journey. So, are you ready to deal with
Yeah,
it?
I like to say that nothing worthwhile is easy. So if it would be easy, everyone would be doing
Hmm.
Best thing happen out of the comfort zone, right?
it. Exactly.
Well, when will we? Of course, the community of Trier is really looking forward to all the information they can get and everything that will be going on. So, when could we be talking a little more about it? What will happen, and what have you achieved? When could we give more informations about that? After your trip?
Let's see. So we're kind of going along and giving out the information as they happen. So we're not holding back. And things do need time to evolve, especially on the legal side. And there are some big contracts that need to be made, and so on. And yeah, we took the time to really do the white paper properly. So I do think that next week you'll be able to get an update on that. That'll be a big one. And then once we have some news, we'll be sharing them for sure. Just on it, if it not before, on each of the AMAs. And I do hope that Ricardo will be joining us a bit more frequently, in the future. And I think the next one, I think we'll have just before the Roatan, the Honduras trip. And I think then the second after that will be right around there.
Hmm.
So the conference is starting on the 5th of May, I guess, and it's there for 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have a call directly from Roatan together with Ricardo.
Okay, with fresh and live informations from there. Thank you very much. About 3R now, Ricardo, I just have another question. With all the project and everything that you are doing, so do you
Hmm.
have some spare time? Do you have some time to do things that you like, be with your family, with your people, with your friends?
Uh, yeah. More so
Yeah,
now. Yeah, I mean, soccer is a big passion of mine.
yeah.
So I'll actually be in Vegas in June to watch the Canadian men's national team play against in the Nations Cup or Nations League with U.S., Panama, and Mexico. Um, so yeah, it's a passion that me and my kids share, my two boys.
Well,
Um, but yeah, no, other than that, I don't have time outside of my passions, my passion projects. So which is fine by me.
it's okay. It's like Sandy said, my work is also my life. It's
Yeah.
my passion, so it's all mixed up. And right, Sandy, it's really hard to put them apart, right? Work and life.
Hmm. Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah,
best. If we,
exactly.
if we can do that, that's actually the best thing, right? I know the majority of people I know, actually separate this. They go to work and then they spend the majority of the day actually at work, and then they have some time for the family. And that's
Mhm.
it's yeah. I
It's
think
sad. It's too bad.
if we can combine that, it's the best. It's the best. But you tend to work more. That's the thing, because you
Hmm.
actually like it. So yeah, and just to
Yeah.
recap, just enjoy a bit of a free time that you have right now still, because this will be over pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Ricardo, thank you very much for being our guest today. We will just stay with Sandy a little longer because we have also some questions to answer from our community. But I'm really looking
Mhm.
forward to the fact that you will be with us also in some of the AMAs that are coming. And I'm sure
Mhm.
that we will be talking about the project, about you, about what is going on, also about the soccer. Uh,
Yes, absolutely. Of course. Yeah.
in,
Lots more
uh,
to come. Lots more to come for sure.
Really looking forward to that. Thank you for taking time. Wishing you the
Mhm.
best day because it's all in front of you.
Yeah.
And looking forward to that white paper, to finish.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
enjoy
Well,
it.
thank you for having me. It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Ricardo, bye.
Okay, Sandy. Now it's us. A very nice conversation, right, with Ricardo. Wow, so many things that we could also talk about, but we will also do that in our next AMAs. Sandy, now we do have some more questions from our community. They come from James, and because we invited everybody, of course, to ask questions, I think now it's time to maybe answer them. Um, it is the first we were talking about it already, but still, James said about the white paper. Are we still waiting for it? And of course, the question also is if there are lawyers checking it.
So we have a lawyer also on the team, and yes, we do have lawyers checking the white paper. The thing is that what we'll be doing now with the 3R Global, it's gonna be, I would say, half of the stuff that we're doing is actually on the legal side. So yeah, we're still ramping up the legal team, but we do need to get that one right. So that's going to be a huge a part of the success and the work that needs to be done. The technical part, yeah, there are some challenges and some innovations and some really cool stuff. The idea is totally new. The technology that's out there, it is possible to do, but the work that really that I don't know a lot about is really the legal part. And yeah, we are ramping up on that side of the team, and we have some good people joining and helping out already. And I think I told you a few times already that once we get the full funding in and we know that we can really pull off the whole thing, that we'll start introducing a lot more of the team members. They're currently having their own jobs right now, and switching jobs, it's not easy. And they have quite good jobs in other crypto projects that are quite high level. But of course, I wouldn't be forcing or asking anyone to really um, quit their job before we can offer them here let's say a secure future, if you can say something like that in a startup.
Sounds reasonable. Now, another question is update on investors. So, how close to the 1 million required and what then?
So to be honest, we didn't make a lot of progress there. We did get, I think, around 100K of commitments in, but we're still looking for the big investor that'll cover it. And we were also working on the other side, and we're trying to get the costs a bit down to get to the MVP. We are already also working on some contracts for the global SIM card, because this is not something that we can build alone, because we cannot go and set up a global physical infrastructure, right? We need to use a infrastructure. So we're right now in the process of getting those contracts together, but they also cost quite a lot of money. And we also started working on the blockchain part, actually. So exploring how to do that, and trying to really get the cost down. So potentially we could do that with not a million. Maybe we can do it with a bit of less funds.
Okay. And another question. Seems a big jump to be focusing on internet in a few African countries to jumping to a worldwide SIM. How will rollout of worldwide SIM work, and how will it affect token holders?
Yeah, so it is a different project, right? So I wouldn't really say it's a big jump, because handling things in Africa and setting up a physical infrastructure there, it's a totally different level, right? But as if you read the first white paper, you would see that the global part was actually in it. It was just we thought that covering Africa, because we already have some boots on the ground there, and we thought that that would be a bit easier. But yeah, we started probably at the wrong time. In the beginning of the bear market, we couldn't get the full raise in, and yeah, we do have a bit of a difficulty in expanding right now there, setting up the physical infrastructure. That takes a huge amounts of capital. So as things are a bit slow there, and we have some free manpower, then we decided to really pull forward the global part, and this is why we're doing this at this moment in time. And also, while I was traveling around, I also met some people that are just started to join, especially for this global part, and Ricardo is actually one of them. So this is why we are also doing this right now, because we do have the team, we do have a really amazing idea behind, and the technology is ready right now. And also, I think the market is really ready right now on all the sides. So on the consumer side, and also on the provider side, there are also telecoms that are struggling right now, because Ricardo mentioned that the margin levels are quite high. The margin levels are actually quite low, but the volumes are there. That's why we're still making a lot of money. But a lot of the telcos are looking into new revenue streams all the time right now, and looks like IoT will be the next one. But we still think that a big disruption can still be done on the current telco side, service selling, the core thing. So that's why we are doing that. And the rollout, it's right now, with the emergence of eSIM, things are, I would say, more or less easy, right? You go online, you buy a SIM card. A SIM card is right now, if you're using eSIM, it's a QR code. You scan a QR code, you have a eSIM, you have instant internet connectivity, and you can just connect to a infrastructure locally that you have, because it's a global SIM card. So a rollout, I don't see any huge issues with that, because everything can be done online. We were even thinking about, if we just to have an MVP, we'll go with an eSIM for sure. We could go with normal SIM cards, but then you need the logistics, because you need to send the SIM cards globally and so on. So for the MVP part, or the starters, we'll for sure go only with eSIM. And it looks like that either way, there'll be no regular SIMs anymore, I guess, in a couple of years. I'm pretty sure they'll go away. Just looking at Apple with the iPhone is usually the trendsetter in this, and they already started ditching the SIM card tray. So I think with the next iPhone, globally, you won't be able to actually put a normal SIM card in anymore. So this means that every carrier around the world will start supporting eSIMs. And right now we already have the majority of them supporting it. So I don't see a rollout as such a big issue. As I said, the majority of the problems will probably be on the legal side. Yeah, but the tech we can handle that. That's going to be a big thing also, but I think that we can handle. And how it will affect the current token holders. Look, well, I cannot tell you exactly right now how it will affect it, but we will take care of our current token holders. That's for sure. So it's you know, the initial investors. We'll take care of them. So I wouldn't worry about that.
Thank you, Sandi. That were the questions from our community. Now I have another question for you. Are you excited about this project? Because I can see, you know, that glow in your eyes.
I'm always excited. I'm excited since the first day of when I actually started thinking about Twitter, and I think I'm getting more and more excited. This is also something that's I think can affect far more people. Maybe it's not affecting exactly Africa and, you know, people that I would say, you know, are really striving for that, and can do a lot of goodness, you know, with just having a internet connection, because they right now for maybe they don't have it, but this is also something that, you know, we can also roll out a global SIM card in Africa. So that's if it's global, it's global, right? But we're also not forgetting 3R as how it's set out in Africa. So this is still ongoing, and we're still working on the actual physical technology. We just recently rolled out a new version of the microwave solution that we have, and so it's a lot that is going there, and for sure, you know, it is exciting. It is exciting, absolutely. But thinking about disrupting the global telco, who wouldn't be excited about that?
Yes, for sure. Looking forward for everything that will be happening in the future, Sandy. And of course, to see you back here in 14 days with more informations. And in the meantime, of course, stay tuned in the community on Telegram, Twitter, and on Discord. Not just you, Sandy, but everybody, of course, who is with us in that community. And you, of course, can also join us anytime, and also be here at this YouTube channel every 14 days. Do get a subscription so that you will know when we are live. Thank you, Sandy, very much for this conversation today.
Thank you, Anita.
Enjoy your time in Dubai. And of course, we will be back here in 2 weeks.
I'll be here.
Me too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.